Yes, the boys, Larry Johnson, former CIA, and Mario, talking about the rhetoric coming out of the politicians in Israel. Important information.
So that's on the Lebanon front. So we do have a ceasefire, but not a ceasefire. Let me link that to the kind of the Trump and Netanyahu split. So the story we talked about yesterday is gaining a lot of traction today. It's about officials from the Trump administration have quietly initiated back-channel communications with Israeli opposition figures, Naftali Bennett and Gadi Eisenkot, as part of a preparations ahead of Israel's elections. So we've discussed this yesterday. Well, Trump took it a step further. Not sure if you saw that, but he reposted an article. The title of the article is the following: Trump holds the cards in Netanyahu's shaky re-election chances.
That was a Haaretz article, wasn't it?
I don't know if the original article was Haaretz, but this one, the domain is Just the News, but I don't know if that's a publication. So maybe it's justthenews.com quoting.
Just the News is John Solomon.
Okay.
That's his site. Because I think I saw it on Haaretz. I was checking headlines, trying to figure out what the hell are they saying in Israel. So yeah, it's not good for Netanyahu. But again, we've got this Netanyahu fixation. I think getting rid of Netanyahu will actually have the ironic effect of accelerating the U.S. alienation from Israel, not decelerating it. Because,
what do you mean by that?
Well, Bibi Netanyahu, with all of his faults and flaws, has lived in America, went to school in America. He understands Americans, and his English it has that touch of the British accent, which Americans are suckers for that. That's why they like you. No, well, I mean, it implies sophistication, intelligence, as opposed to like a Southern accent, which I could imitate.
Okay, I'll try to do more British accent if it gets the numbers up on the show. I'll do that more often if I sound more intelligent. But you're saying the opposition leaders against Netanyahu don't have that, so that would actually accelerate the split between the two countries.
Yeah, I think that would be the ironic outcome of it. Particularly, if you get, like the Ben Gavirs and the Smotriches, they are, they don't have a filter. It's one thing, you can have certain thoughts, but you say, well, I should never say that in public. But they don't filter it at all, and so that'll further, like pour gasoline on the fire in the United States.
Yeah, I made a post about this yesterday. I deleted it because people misconstrued it and it got a lot of hate. But I said, Ben Gvir and Smotrich are causing more harm to Israel than Hezbollah. So my point is the damage these guys are causing with their rhetoric is alienating Israel from the rest of the world. And that's more than what missiles and drones from Hezbollah could do, because Hezbollah is easy to solve. You just freaking stop advancing in Lebanon, get a ceasefire and pull out of the territory, they'll leave you alone. They want peace as well. At least that's what I think. But Smotrich, Ben Gvir, if they continue their way of diplomacy and governing, it's gonna.
Well, explain to me why the people. What was the hateful? What were they saying? You were wrong.
No. So I think because it was, when I make very short statements and don't explain them, and I couldn't be bothered explaining it. When I make very short statements, people don't immediately get the message behind it. So a lot of people are like, what the hell are you saying? Words are more dangerous than bullets and missiles, or bullets and rockets. So that's the message that, kind of got criticism. But what I was trying to get at, I did a separate tweet afterwards, kind of criticizing the statements by these guys. And I'll probably do a new one now explaining it. But my point is exactly what you're saying, is that, Ben Gvir saying, now I speak to people in Israel that they like, Mario, I wish we didn't have Ben Gvir, but we do. Now, they also tell me, Mario, Ben Gvir represents the minority. It's true, but that's a growing minority. And when 20 to 30% of Israelis support Ben Gvir, that's a very concerning number. So it's a deeper problem than just one person. I think Ben Gvir represents, is the result of a deeper issue in the country that needs to be addressed. But
And that's why the right is on the rise all over Europe, all over the West. It mimics what's happening in Israel because they want us to think, oh well, if only we could eradicate all the Muslims, all the non-natives, all the people we deem to be our enemies, if we could eradicate them. Look what they're doing in Israel. I wish I could do that here in England. This is what they want. This is why they're pushing the likes of Tommy Robinson, Nigel Farage, Elon Musk is even promoting it. Like this great displacement theory. It's nonsense. It's nonsense like. It's just to push the Zionist. It's because they want greater Israel. And the Arabs are standing in the way. And the Muslims are standing in the way. And they want any excuse and every reason to get rid of them. Literally. If they could click their fingers and they're all gone. That's what they would do.
Well, as well, you played some comments. I believe you played comments from
The guy from
Naftali's,
the show.
Naftali's interview with Piers Morgan, and just the outrageous things he was saying about Iran. I mean, he was saying things as radical, if not more radical and hateful than Bibi Netanyahu.
I haven't played that. Do you know? Do you remember? Can you paraphrase what they were? We didn't actually discuss it. Do you remember what they were?
No. Yeah. He just said he was going to be the worst nightmare. You know, that if Iran thinks it's getting off light now, just wait till he gets in office. Naftali Bennett, he said, you can have Stephanie look it up. Stephanie, it's Naftali Bennett and Piers Morgan. It is, he was on sort of a tirade about Iran. So, I mean, the point is, these opposition figures are not going to bring in a different, more moderate, less warlike policy. I would say just the opposite. They may be more extreme than even Bibi.
Yeah, I'm going to play a few clips. Stephanie, play this one here. I haven't seen the interview, so it's good. And I like him. I like Piers Morgan. I know a lot of people dislike him.
He's a helmet. He's an absolute helmet. Pure flip-flopper. He was right up the Zionists' bum hole for months and months and months. And when popular consensus, when the polls shift, he's like a fart in the wind. He's got no morals or ethics. He's got no beliefs of his own. He's a doylem, as we'll call it, up here in Newcastle. He's an absolute ball bag, is what Piers Morgan is.
But I really think he's good at getting both sides, and he's been pressing, people that support the various wars in the region a lot more than he used to. But if you can play that clip, I've had Piers on the show once or twice. Probably should have him again after that interview. I've sent the clip to Stephanie. She'll put it up now. Israel isn't. Yeah, there it is. Bennett tells Iran he will be their worst nightmare if elected as prime minister. Put it with the audio.
I believe that soon in Israel, there'll be a new government. Hopefully, I'll lead that new government. And I want to tell the Iranian regime from here, I'm going to be your worst nightmare ever. I won't relent until we free your people, ensure you don't have a nuclear weapon. So you've got no hope. We won't let up on this effort because it's fighting for our freedom, for our security, and for the benefit of the entire Middle East. I believe that soon.
What do you mean? One sentence you're saying you're going to do it for the Iranian people, but in the second sentence you're going to do it for the people of Israel. Iran never wanted nuclear weapons. They had a fatwa in place. And unlike the people in the West, the Epstein class, the Iranians are people of their word. The Shia are people of their word. You wish you could be half as trustworthy and ethical as the people of Iran. It's all absolute bullshit. I'm sorry for swearing, but it's absolute bullshit. Whoever our politicians in the West say are the terrorists, it's the reverse. It's all projection. This man here, these are the terrorists. Believe me, these are the terrorists. History will show. I know I can't say it now, and luckily no one watches this so I can say what I want. They're scumbags, man. They're the new Nazis. Despicable.
In Israel, there'll be a new.
Can Israel continue to prosecute the war with such huge civilian life as it goes after Hamas? Or is there going to be a point when international objections to the way Israel's prosecuting it become overwhelming?
Here's we're fighting a war against total evil that wants to annihilate us and wants to annihilate your way of living, the free world, liberal way of living.
Hamas want to annihilate the liberal way of living. Just listen to what they say. Anyone who's got a brain bigger than a garden pea. Come on, man, they just want their land. Let them live in peace. Coexist. Two-state solution. There's endless options, man. I'm a thick Geordie and I could sort it out in a day. Leave them alone. Let them have some land and let them live their lives. It's little peanut heads like him who just want to kill everyone. No. Stop. Can't you see? You're turning into the very people that you hate. The reason you are still victims. You've turned into them. The Austrian painter, he would be proud of you.
Your grandfather was a hero in the Second World War fighting in Burma against the Japanese.
Sorry, my granddad was a hero in the Second World War. He was Sergeant Major for the Green Howards, 5th Battalion. You don't know what you're talking about, little Maltese Anapa. Embarrassing, man.
Was there a certain threshold of how many Japanese civilians will die, and at that point you stop the war? The West leveled 66 cities. I'm not talking about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I'm talking about in conventional means. And you knew that you have to defeat Japan. You knew you have to defeat Germany at whatever price it'll take. We have to defeat Hamas at any price.
Can Israel continue to prosecute the war with such huge...
Aye, but back in the 1940s it was a little bit different, mate. Was my granddad going around Germany placing children's toys in the street? Or placing speakers playing the noise of babies crying? Or was he waiting until paramedics come and then bombing the ambulance? No, I don't think they were doing any of that, because that's despicable, mate. That's despicable. Cowardly. Shooting young boys, 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, shooting them in the genitals, headshots. IDF out there posting on social media, bragging about killing unarmed young boys, because they're Amalek, apparently. You've got to kill them all. No, they weren't doing any of that. And yes, war is bloody and people die. But you deliberately target civilians. Deliberately. You send people to refugee camps and target those camps. Cowards.
Yeah, this... I've asked the team just to ping him now. I've asked the team to ping him for an interview. I'll try to get him on the show, chat to him. Because I don't know his positions well enough, but I keep hearing and I keep seeing statements that he's not too different from Netanyahu.
Yeah, well, and what a bullshit argument. I mean, yeah, the United States killed lots of civilians, and they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have. You know, that's like justifying, well, Charles Manson had a point. Or he's like saying,
Charles Manson did it.
Yeah. It's just like, and this is the real problem I've had with U.S. policy. We justify killing civilians and don't think a thing about it. Whether it was bombing Tokyo with fire bombs or Hiroshima and Nagasaki with atomic bombs, and he's correct that we killed a lot more with conventional bombs than Japan.
But in the defense of the Americans, If you read Stephen Call's Ghost Wars about the CIA in Afghanistan, one of Larry's friends, Gordon Tennant, I'm sure he was the CIA station chief in Islamabad. Back then they were reluctant to do assassinations, even to give weapons to the Mujahideen to do assassinations in case, those weapons could be linked back to America. But since the Zionist regime have got their grubby little tentacles in everything, what's Mossad's? What's their piece de resistance? What's the Mossad playbook? Assassinations. And because their tentacles have crept into MI5, the CIA, they're quite happy to do it now, like the Samson option. Killing your own people rather than let them be captured. Cowards.
And in Germany, what's fascinating is you go back and look at World War II. In spite of the casualties, massive casualties that Russia was suffering or the Soviets were suffering, they never once engaged in those kinds of mass bombings of cities of civilians. Never did.
And even Iran now, when Iran have been striking the GCC in Israel, targeting military, pinpoint accuracy, going out their way not to kill civilians, because at the end of the day, this is the thing. It grinds my gears like, but this whole conflict, Iran have stuck to international law. If anything comes of this, and it goes to the Geneva Convention or the UN, Iran have been well within their rights. Even the GCC, if you have bases where the enemy's planes can refuel or load up or fly from, be deployed from, you are complicit, and under international law, you can be retaliated against for said actions. This whole axis of evil, it's nonsense. We know who the axis of evil are. It's us, the Americans, and the Zionists.
Think about that. It was the United States 8th Air Force and the British Air Force that were doing that. And so it's really something sort of perversely part of the West that, we'll kill a bunch of civilians. We don't care. Yeah, and, someone familiar with American history would say, well, Johnson, you're pretty goddamn naive. Don't you realize that's what you guys did to the Native Americans? Don't you realize that that's what you did to the Africans that were brought here as slaves? So they may have a point. But I'm just saying that now that Israel is using our own bad example as an excuse to go out and commit genocide, sorry, that's a lame argument.
And it is. It's embarrassing. We think we're free. We're progressive, liberal. Couldn't be further from the truth, like. And I'm going to leave it there because it's getting us riled up, like. But we need to start pointing this out. People need to be held accountable. It's wrong and it's got to stop. No more wars, man. We all want to live in peace. The Shia of Iran want to live in peace. Just leave them alone, man. They don't want a nuke. It's us in the West and Israel that are obsessed with them. And how come Israel don't have to declare their nuclear weapons? Oh, that's right. Because any countries with nuclear weapons can't receive aid from America. So that's why they're not declared. All to do with money and greed. Pathetic. But that's it for this one.